morning everyone and welcome back to the vlog. I'm on my way driving through the Perthshire hillside today, but I thought it'd be a great chance to go through what I've actually got in my camera bag and the gear that I use. Now, I'm the first to confess I'm no tech guru, so if you're looking to see how many elements the EF 17 to 35mm Nikon lens has got, then this is not the channel for you. But I do know what works well for me for landscape photography, and I've been photographing for, I don't know, around 20 years now. So hopefully this will give you some ideas as to the sort of kit that I have, and when we find the next stop, I'll show you what's in the bag. Well, first of all, what an amazing location to do what's in my camera bag. I could do with a little bit more sunshine, but I'm surrounded by mountains, sheep that you can probably hear in the distance, and wow, it's a beautiful spot. So anyway, let's start with the bag itself. This is the Shimoda Explore version 2. It's the 35-litre size, and I have to say it is one of the most comfortable backpacks that I've owned. Not just camera bags, but actual backpacks themselves. And I think that's down to the padding and the amount of adjustment that you can get through the straps. And I've had this a little while, and I've got to say that for size-wise, it's absolutely perfect for what I'm doing. And I've taken it out in all weather. I've taken it out in the rain, heavy snow, and it does come with an additional rain cover, but I've never used it and never needed it. And with this sort of material, you can easily clean it and wipe it off. And yeah, really impressed. So let's just have a quick look inside. Now, what I really like about this bag is you can throw it down and get to the camera gear just by unzipping the back. And there it is. There's enough space in here for me to hold an additional 3 lenses plus the one on the actual camera itself. Lots of pockets, lots of compartments, and you don't have to worry about it. You can put it on the ground. There's a couple of straps front and back that mean you can just pick it up, move it about to where you want it. All your gear's nice and safe, thanks to these core units that are customizable inside. I did put an extra one in for my longer lens, the 70 to 200mm lens, which I just found that I needed the extra space for, but great bag. So first, let's talk about the camera. This is the Nikon D850, and I've owned it for a few years now, and it's not by any means a modern new camera. This was first released in 2017, but this is a workhorse. And you often hear people talking fondly of the Nikon D850 because at the time it really was a breakthrough in DSLRs. Still, with this has got 45 megapixel sensor, which is more than ample for the work that I'm doing, and with a dynamic range of around 14.8 stops, it's still tricky to beat this beast, especially with some of the new mirrorless cameras. Now, if I was a wildlife or sports photographer, this wouldn't be the ideal camera. There's certainly been some major advances in autofocusing and frames per second that cameras can shoot at now. But if you're just shooting landscapes, then this really is hard to beat. The picture quality is just outstanding, and being able to take it out in all weather and not worry is really what we're looking for. So let's talk about lenses. So this is my 17 to 35mm Nikon AFS lens. This is my wide angle zoom lens. And what I really like about wide angle lenses is how they exaggerate the perspective. So when I'm photographing beach scenes, fields, this really pushes out the landscape and exaggerates the detail that's in my foreground to my background. And I have to say I use this lens a fair amount because it really is the sort of work that I do. So the lens that's on my camera the most is the 28-70, and I have to say this is a heavy lens. It weighs in around about 900 grams, which is just under a kilo. And when you read reviews on this lens, it says great lens, but you've got to be prepared to carry it. And I've got to say it is a weighty beast. But the majority of the images that I actually take, I tend to find that I'm using this lens from 28 to 70 mil. Just seems to be that optimum focal length that I'm often looking for. Now this is my Nikon 70 to 200 millimeter lens, probably the next lens that stays on my camera more than most. And this is the VR version with vibration reduction. Great for, you don't always just have to have it on the tripod. With the vibration reduction means you can handhold at a lot slower shutter speeds. And I use this a fair amount. I don't tend to find that I ever really need to go over 200 mil on my lens, but as far as lenses go, for capturing those scenes that are often at a distance and for catching those small features, great lens. All the lenses that I actually have are f2.8 lenses. And last but not least is, this is a macro lens, the Sigma 105mm EX. And I tend to find that I don't use this as often, but I always keep it in my camera bag because you just never know when you need a macro lens. And of course you can use the telephoto lens, but I do find that having a macro lens in the bag does make all the difference. Again, this has optical stabilization so that you can hand hold it, not that you really would want to hand hold when you're actually shooting close-up macro work. It's not as good as the Nikon lenses. This is a little bit more plasticky, but image quality is absolutely incredible. And I've taken some cracking shots with this lens, and I just keep it in the bag all the time because you just never know when you might need a macro lens. So these three lenses in themselves give me a range of 17mm to 200mm, and I find that's more than ample. Because they are f2.8 lenses, it does mean they are heavy lenses, and because they're weather sealed as well. But with these three lenses, I find that they cover just about most of the scenes that I'm photographing. And then the macro lens for those small, intricate details. On the rare occasion I do need a little more reach than my 200mm lens, I keep in my bag this Sigma 2x teleconverter, which just sits between the camera and the lens and gives me a focal distance of 400mm when I need it. You do lose a little bit of quality with the teleconverters, but not enough really to notice. This little device that you see in my hand practically every video is the RFN4 wireless shutter release. And I have this permanently on my camera all the time, and it means that I don't have to press the shutter or put the camera on a timer. The receiver sits in the 10-pin socket terminal on the actual Nikon camera itself and is powered by the camera, so I don't need to have to worry about keeping that charged. And it means that I can fire the camera from around about 35-36 feet away without having to worry about hitting the shutter button. I keep an L bracket on my camera all the time. This one's made by Three Legged Thing, and they seem to do a lot of their gear in these nice bright orange colours. But what this enables me to do is to be able to mount my camera for landscape or portrait really quickly and smoothly. I don't have to adjust my tripod, have my camera weighted over to the left-hand side. Quick release, turn the camera over. I can jump from portrait to landscape. If you have any questions about the gear that I use and I haven't answered them, leave me a comment below and I'd be happy to answer your questions. So the tripod I'm using is the inaugural NT364C. Bit of a mouthful, but this is a carbon fiber tripod, and I have not had it that long, but there's a couple of things that I really do like about this tripod. First of all is the height. I'm fairly tall, but this tripod will come above my head, and what that means is when I'm photographing on a slight slope, I can reduce the legs to get the right angle, but it's still at a good height for me. The other thing that I really like about this tripod, this is the slightly extended version, which means that it's got the 36mm tubes, which are slightly thicker than the standard, and it really is a sturdy tripod. I've found in the past that carbon fiber tripods tend to sort of give that slight wobble, especially on a breezy day, but this really is a good sturdy tripod. The twist lock quick release legs as well are easy to get up in a hurry. So yeah, so far so good with the tripod. On top of my tripod, I've got a Sunway GH Pro 2 geared head, and you've probably heard me talk a lot about using a geared head in my previous videos. What I really like about using a geared head is being able to make minute adjustments to my composition. This head's nice because we've got the standard dials, which means we can make very small, minute adjustments, but these actually open up and we can actually then quickly make adjustments if we need to. There's a pano plate on the bottom for taking panoramic shots on the base of the tripod and actually on the base of the camera. So it's a very versatile tripod head. So I keep a number of filters in the front of my bag. I keep a polarizer, circular polarizer from Breakthrough Filters, which is just great, which I tend to keep on the camera a lot of times just to help keep those reflections not back, especially in water and forest photography, sort of when we're getting a lot of reflective light. Breakthrough polarizer with ND, 6-stop ND filter. These are great because they're a combined filter, and it just means that you don't have to stack them. I've got a polarizer and an ND filter all in one, and the 6-stop filter really just enables me to give those a little bit longer exposures. And then this is a adjustable ND filter by Newer, who they've just recently sent me this, so I haven't had a chance to try it out yet, but this gives me an ND filter range from 1 to 5 stops. So I keep those in the bag all the time. You never know when you might need them. Last but not least is this small rig folding toolkit. And this is a great little gadget. It's got a number of screwdrivers, Phillips screwdrivers that just fold away, some Allen keys. But one thing that I find really useful is this flat head screwdriver, but it's just a good size for tightening the tripod bracket on the camera. And this is one little gadget that I keep with me and use all the time. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Something a little bit different. As I said, I'm not a gear tech head, so I haven't gone into lots of intricate detail, but hopefully it gives you a little bit of an idea of the type of equipment that I carry around in my camera bag, and perhaps the type of equipment that a landscape photographer uses. If you are interested in any of the gear, I have left links below. They are affiliated links, so if you click through and purchase anything, then I obviously benefit from that, and thank you very much. And if you have any questions about the gear that I use, then please leave me a comment below. Or if you've got any recommendations about gear that you use that you think that I would find it useful. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification button. And well, I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.